Good morning, amigos. We're here in an undisclosed location somewhere in Northern California with the founder and CEO of La Luna, Chava. Chava, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Yourself?
We're doing fantastic. What is all this going on here for people that don't know?
This is our warehouse where we would land all of our finished product.
Fantastic. So a lot of new mezcal consumers don't know that you can actually make and drink mezcal from outside of Oaxaca. How does it feel to be one of the few brands outside of Oaxaca to represent mezcal and Latino culture?
Super proud. I am a big of a fan of this category as I am in it on the selling side, on the producing side. So I have a lot of great friends from Oaxaca, but at the same time, the sole reason I started La Luna Mezcal was to represent Michoacán, because we're from Cotija de la Paz, Michoacán, famous for cotija cheese. And the whole intention was like, hey, I know that our home state makes mezcal. And so that was the original vision. And so we've been able to carry that into 12 countries now.
Wow, awesome. Okay, and then these pallets here, they're not just for yourself. You do some collaborations with some awesome companies, right? Like you had one with Rayleigh's, a bunch of restaurants. Can you tell us how brands can reach out to you?
Yeah, for sure. So essentially what happens is we have the what we call the custom batch program. And the reason we can do it is because, once again, we produce what we do. So essentially, if you're interested in such a thing, what we do is we work with you and figure out what motivates you and maybe your cuisine or your shop, something that's a passion within you. And we look at our lineup of agaves, whether it's Espadincillo, Manso Saguayo, Bruto, Chino, and you say, okay, I'd like this agave, and then I'd like these flavor profiles. From there, we basically collaborate in the sense that we might say, oh, that's not going to work out too well, or have you ever thought about this, or it's this season in Michoacán, maybe we should focus on this fruit or what have you. So it's a very involved process. And versus, in the world of spirits, there's a lot of barrel selections and stuff like this, but usually those are people trying finished products and saying, hey, I like that one. In this case, we do it from the beginning. So we sit down, we're on the phone, on WhatsApp, whatever, and we bring it to life together.
Wow, so it's a full-on catered experience for the brands that want to partner with you. It's not just like cookie cutter, like they get their own custom experience.
Yeah, correct. Basically, in the beginning, it was just showing them what our regular mezcal was, right? So in the world of mezcal, you talk pechugas, which usually involve a breast, or then destilado con or avocado con. And then in that world, we figured it like to be a celebration. We're first generation producers. We kind of learned along the way how to do what we do. And we've brought to market a lot of different expressions on ourselves, whether it's been pechugas or ensambles or single varietals.
Chava, this smells fantastic. What am I drinking right now?
So right now, you're sipping on, and we're standing right next to palette of our black label. So it's our flagship product. It's what everyone knows the most. It's a triple ensamble or triple blend of 3 agaves featuring cuprieta. So in the market, it's one of the best price points per ounce in market. So whether you're buying it at a retail shop to enjoy at home like you are sipping it, or sometimes on premise, these are leaders specifically that would go into cocktail programs or different cocktails people are tasting. 46% ABV, made traditionally, the same way we make everything else that you guys have had and tasted. Just obviously 2% less in alcohol, but still has all those present flavors that you would want from a mezcal. And obviously with the triple ensamble, you get some of the features of cuprieta, but the balance out of azul or blue Weber as well as espadín.
Wow, so it's a familiar flavor for people that like tequila, right?
Yeah, I mean, it carries some of that in there. With for sure, like our tequilana, like our 100% tequilana, like that would absolutely be something that would favor someone's tequila loving palate, particularly people that love high proofs. This guy carries some of those like, especially kind of like the citrus notes. So I think it's familiar flavors, and then ultimately in a cocktail works really well because you get that presence of like undertone of smoke. But you obviously get a lot of the citrus flavors, obviously some nice sweetness from the agave, and obviously earthiness that I think makes the cocktail kind of stand out.
And when we go to restaurants, and a lot of people watching at home, they get cocktails that have 40% ABV in them. So I would almost put your cocktail mezcal at the upper end of that scale, right? Or how's the price tag compared to like those cheaper 40% things that aren't all the way organic like yours?
Yeah, you know what? That's a great question. For us, it would be, the fact of the matter is we grow agave, we source agave, and convert agave into mezcal. And working the way we do, we've worked on this a lot to make the price point as best as possible and keep the quality as high as possible. I think it's a very a unique thing that a lot of people can't usually do. Most people that are playing the category of mezcal, especially 40% mezcal, they're just buying mezcal in the market and reducing it down with water to ultimately bring something to market. In our world, we're working on this all the time in our lab to be like, hey, how can we improve this? What can we do? What ratios work better? Obviously, sometimes the pricing of agave changes right now in favor of this product to be one of the most affordable, to be quite honest with you, in the market. So higher ABV. And the higher ABV, I think, is something that when people think about it and they're not really used to the idea that traditional mezcal, double distilled traditional mezcal, was 45% above, they're challenged to think, oh, this is just going to be harsher. And that's definitely not the case here. And I think when they try it, like, wow, that's pleasant. I didn't realize that. So the 46% plays into many things, particularly that it's traditional, but then it'll stand up more in a cocktail. And you get some actual flavor from it versus it just being alcohol to ultimately get us a little bit loopy.
Right. And this is fantastic. It's found all over northern, southern, and different other states, right? Outside of California?
29 states. Our most impressive states are probably California, Colorado, Illinois, Texas, and then within that Florida. And then we have presence in some other states, but not as much as those other states I just mentioned.
Wow. And what about online purchasing? Like, can people go through your website, or do they have to go to like a liquor store, or how do they find your bottles?
The most robust selection, our biggest selection is going to be on our online store, shop.lalunamezcal.com. And you'll be able to find the black labels on there, but from there, a lot of our custom batches are on there. A lot of unique things that we've never brought to market. As you can imagine, a lot of distributors aren't excited to bring on too many things. So it's kind of a select few with all the states. Like you'd find Espadencillo at Total Wine, but that's not going to be the case everywhere, right? And that's just one expression. But if you want to get 3, 4 Mantos Aguayo, Bruto, an ensemble of those, we have them online.
Why did you decide to be different and experiment with these totally different things?
The reality, like I mentioned, is we started distilling ourselves in 2019. When we started doing it, it became kind of like a situation where we were like, okay, what drives us, right? And so that's where the birth of Tequilana came from, Mantos Aguayo, using all those agaves. At the time, La Luna was only known for one expression back then. When we started producing, we wanted to take it to the next level. And so the reality was that we were learning along the way. So, a lot of times, and much respect to them, you have people that have been doing this for generations, right? Yeah. They learn from their father and then from their grandfather, and usually they stick to kind of what they've been doing. And in our world, we're like, well, we can't really do that because no one really taught us that for ourselves. And so we chose to take La Luna into a path where we can collaborate with people and bring kind of new things to life. We started it, in the sense that we made the Ponche Navideño first for ourselves. We made a lot of ensambles ourselves. The first one that we did, I remember, that was like a really unique one that we did was a Bruto Chino ensamble, and we distilled it with jabalí, which is wild boar, epazote, tejocote, and avocado leaves. That was the first thing we had ever done. And
jokingly, nobody died?
Nobody died.
Okay, so then it grew from there.
Yeah, no, then that one went really well, and people really enjoyed it. We put that in 375s. It got to Texas, I remember. People really enjoyed that, and then it was like, okay, let's try this, let's try that. And then the birth of this kind of was like, hey, let's work with chefs. That because chefs obviously every day are working within their craft to create unique flavors for themselves and their restaurants and their brands. And it was kind of like, hey, let's work with them. Obviously goes without saying, mixologists or cocktail or bartenders, they're always making unique things. You've seen some of the most unique cocktails and some of the great programs across the country. But at the same time, when it comes to like herbs and fruits and proteins, that's usually more like chef driven and all that good stuff. So it opened up a path for this to become, very well accepted as well as very diverse in flavors.
Wow. I want to explore that for a little bit. When a restaurant or a company reaches out to you to make a small batch, exclusive small batch, that's almost an offering for their customers, right?
100%. And honestly, because like I mentioned, we do everything from the agaves forward. We have our own nurseries, etc. We used to do 100 liter run minimum, which is still very little because most people, when they do a barrel, that's 220 liters. Now we've minimized it to 50 liters. So basically, if you guys can imagine, when we distill, we load our ordinario into the caso de cobre that we distill in, put the wood montera on, the copper cone. The 220 liters that we put into the bowl only yields us 50 liters. We call that a parada. And so now the minimum is just one parada. So if you want to make your Adrian batch, right? Like we could make it and it would just be 50-liter minimum. Not a whole lot.
So the threshold, the entry point for a potential customer is actually more accessible.
100%. And now it's as we've grown, we've modified our ways, and usually in favor of the customer to make it a little bit more accessible for them, to make it so that they can move it faster. At the end of the day, we want to be successful with the people that work with us.
And yeah, so going back to here, you got this this mammoth here. It actually looks familiar.
Touch Winery in Napa. We did this. So one of the owners of Pico Bar in Calistoga is a gentleman, Michael. I forget his last name. He's the owner of Touch Winery also. And so this was done for him. He had tried that batch at Pico Bar. He's like, I want something for my winery. And he has, I think, like a really, kind of like speakeasy bar at his own house. And so this was done for them. And unique as well, distilled with Granada, Palo Santo, Naranja, and Clavo with Espadincillo agave. So tasty.
And you mentioned sharing the culture and educating people. This shirt here, it's got something I recognize from my Michoacán culture, is the Monarca. Can you please tell us about this collaboration?
Yeah, so artist from La Ciudad de Mexico named Izzy lives in Arizona. I came across him because I went to visit Bar Coa in Arizona. And right outside, there's like this I don't know, maybe like 10 foot wide by 6 foot tall like fence that he did on Antonio Aguilar, like artwork. And it's so impressive. And so I asked the barman, I said, hey, who did that out there? And then he connected me with Izzy. And then I said, Izzy, can we collaborate? Can you come up with something that brings La Luna to life via your vision? And so he put this together. You could tell La Luna bottle in the middle, the monarch butterfly, maguey also a part of it. A lot of his signature little circles, those are part of his signature. And it came together really nice. It's a really nice art piece. And he did a little bit of a version of the moon as well.
Wow.
With his work and touches to it. So kind of cool. One of the newer pieces we brought to market for swag. But, not just our vision. It's his and, very artistic.
So you guys are selling out very quickly on those shirts. Can people buy those on their website?
Yeah, for now, go at La Luna Mezcal for Instagram or Facebook, but mostly Instagram, and send us a message, and then we'll find a way to make that transaction happen.
Awesome. So we've got something here. Looks like a mezcal sundial. What is going on here?
We're gonna do a ritual. No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna play spin the bottle on the way out. Very appropriate with all the expressions that we have. We're gonna spin it wherever it lands. You and I are gonna take a pour on the way out. A little sippy on Sunday morning.
Awesome. All right. Did you want to show us how it's done here?
So this is kind of shows how much we have for options. So let's just go. There we go.
You got
land
the
it on
bruto?
bruto.
All right.
Easy peasy.
And I guess while you're pouring here, you mentioned that people can reach out to you in Spanish. How important is it for you as a Latino to continue your Spanish here, even in the United States?
I would say that I'm super proud that I've been able to improve my Spanish at the level I have through this project. I grew up Spanish-speaking household. My parents speak English, but moderately. And when I got to Michoacán with Adrián, when I first got to know him, he's like, hey, wait. Tu español estaba de la madre. O sea, it was not good. And he goes, and now he goes, I can't believe it. So very proud of it. I think it's super important. I think that to be bicultural and selling mezcal in this country, I think it ties together really well for the people that I get to engage with. And there's no one that we leave behind, because whether you're coming up to us and you're like, hey, no hablo inglés, perfect. Let's do it in Spanish. We'll tell you exactly why we use the word maguey on our labels versus sometimes agave. All the details of it. How long each agave takes to grow. Why they call cuprieta chino in Michoacán. Why this one that I just poured for us is called bruto, which is funny enough, the most iconic agave from our hometown of Cotija. So I think it's a very fitting way to end our tasting today.
There it is. Well, we were here with Chava from La Luna. Reach out to Chava if you want to do any exclusive batches or just want to support a small brand and purchase a bottle. Thanks, Chava.
Saludcita.
Cheers.